All right, we are now joined in the media center by our pole sitter, Jimmie Johnson. And this is Jimmie's first pole since September of 2010. And just talk about your lap out there.
Gary, you've toilet paper around your foot, buddy. Okay, sorry. We missed you, man. No, just a great lap. I mean, it was tough to really know how much effort to commit to on corner entry, and really especially into turn one, because we had such wind, gust of wind to our backs going into turn one. And I felt like with the way the wind was blowing, if I got through one well, I could charge the rest of the track. And I got through there pretty good. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but got through there well. And then knowing that I had the wind, head on the car, planting the race car going into three, I just bombed it in there and jumped in the gas real hard, and the car rotated around and pointed off of four really nice. So happy to get the pole. We've been second quite a bit. But off, I guess, quite a few times over the last year and a half. So it's nice to win the pole, get that great starting spot and pit road pick. And we've got a cool paint scheme on the race car, too, so that's fun. Give that thing a good run tomorrow night.
Jimmie's first Coors Light pole since September 210 at Dover.
210?
Yes, sir. So had to get back at you on that one.
Yeah, I was trying to ignore or make noise over the 210 part.
Anyhow, questions for Jimmie Johnson, our 5-time Sprint Cup Series champion. Any questions? Right here, Woody.
Just your take on what the wind and the whatever it was like when you were out there. Did you take cover somewhere?
I was in my motorhome watching qualifying on television, and the bus started shaking real bad, and I thought about it. I'm like, it shouldn't be doing that. I don't know what's going on. The TV was a little behind, and they weren't talking about the winds. So I, for a minute there, thought somebody backed into our motorhome and hit it. So I opened the door to look out, and when I opened the door, the wind almost took the door off the hinges of my motorhome. And I was like, okay, I see what's going on. And there's a lot of stuff blowing around at that point.
Other questions? Jason's got one right here. Raise your hand, Jason.
Jason Fraser, the Louisville Courier-Journal. Jimmie, Kyle's kind of talked about the advantages of starting up front at this track versus maybe some other places. Do you see that being more of an advantage here versus other places, and if so, why? Yeah, I mean, it really is the name of the game wherever we go.
Typically the higher the speeds, the more important track position is. Some of like the old Michigan, you could work traffic a little bit because there was so much room on the racetrack. But there's a relatively narrow groove here, 2 or 3 cars wide, and the speeds are really high. So when that happens, it's tough to pass, and starting position and track position in general is very important.
Let's go, Rusty. Go ahead.
Rusty Miller, AP. Jimmie Johnson could you talk a little bit about how the temperature variation changed? I mean, obviously the wind had an effect, but just with the temperature dropping 20, 30, 40 degrees.
Yeah, that's where I was trying to take an educated guess on my effort level. The pace was 5/10 quicker, Chad told me when I asked him. I can't remember, maybe it was the 29 was on top or something like that. At that point, the pace was 5/10 faster than what I had gone in practice. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's a big chunk. Trying to think about how hard I would drive it and what I would do. And then I'm watching the flags blow really hard and trash blow by while I'm sitting in the race car. And just trying to judge how hard I can go into one. And when I hit the rev limiter at the end of the front stretch, I knew just to get out of it, because I didn't touch the rev limiter in practice. So it was a considerable gust of wind to our backs going into one, and that typically makes the car want to spin out.
How much grip you have, things like that?
Well, it definitely does, but the most dangerous area is in turn one with the wind. So once I got through that spot, I felt like the cooler temperatures were just going to make the car quick. And when I got to the other end of the racetrack and had the wind kind of in a helping fashion, I knew just to drive the wheels off of it. But into turn one and getting through the center of 1 and 2 was the area that. And it's your first time there at speed too, so you're trying to form a quick opinion because you got to go to the other end and get it done.
Any other questions for Jimmie? Right in the back.
Jeff Woods, WBKO. Jimmie, earlier today you talked about not liking this track when you first started to test and practice. and then that started to change with the pole. Does it maybe help you like it even more now?
It's amazing how your perception changes of places when you run well. But, you know, I have to say last year in the experience for the test session, well, I guess we didn't qualify, but the race itself, I had a great time. I really enjoyed driving the racetrack. Today had its challenges when it was so hot, but I think once the sun goes down and things cool off, the track's a lot of fun. I mean, it is by no means a perfect racetrack. There is more character, if you will, around this racetrack than you could ever imagine. There are bumps and jumps. I found a jump below the on the apron just past the start-finish line. I didn't know we had jumps out here either, but I had all 4 tires off the ground. It was unbelievable to be that high off the ground in a stock car. So the track has some character to it, and that's good. It puts on a good race.